there is no limit to what Yul Edochie can do. And this time around, he has done the worst. He has done the worst. So all of those public apology was for a purpose, for a sinister purpose. Maybe that is the reason why he went to his village without telling his parents, went to meet a Dibia, so that he can execute all of these things. Out of frustration, Yul Edochie did something. And what Yul Edochie did, will finally end him where maybe he thought he will end up in Aso Villa, Aso Rock, Federal Capital Territory as president, maybe in his dreams. But this time around, it could be that Yul Edochie will end up being the president of the prisons, president of prisoners. He will be going to Kirikiri Maximum Correctional Center. Maybe when he gets in there, he can now begin election there and try to become president of the prisoners. So Yul Edochie created this so-called company, Isimili Global Limited, Isimili Property Company, Isimili Real Estate, Isimili this and that. He had sinister plots and plans behind it. Well, Yul Edochie did something. He made a move. And before I proceed on it, let us quickly look at the information that went around social media. And it is that of May filing a divorce from Yul Edochie, stopping him from accessing their home, demands 100 million in damages from him and his second wife, Judy, over alleged adultery. It is all over social media. Linda Keji posted this. This is not a ruse. It's not made up. Well, the man that is representing her is Femi Falana. You know who she is, an Eco Law group. They are also jointly, they are demanding 100 million from Yul and his second wife, Judy, who both of them have been accused of adultery. In fact, let us just focus on Yul, because Judy cannot be accused of adultery. It is the man that is married under oath to the woman called May that went out to meet Judy that can be asked to pay the 100 million. Now, if Judy Austin's husband, Mr. Obasi, now wants to drag Judy to the court, depending on the kind of marriage they both took oath under, then it's their business. Now, back then, it was alleged that both Yul and Judy were avoiding service of the process. So I would prefer to say it was alleged that Yul was avoiding service of the process upon him. The court believe has tried so many times to serve him in accordance with the rules of law, but they have evaded service of court process despite the braggadocio and the social media stunts. Yul Edochie and Judy are facing serious legal challenges, and they seem ill-prepared for it, given the fact that they have been evading service of process. Now, not just that alone, this is one of the most important of all that we are going to talk about. May filed an order of court restraining Yul from accessing their former matrimonial home. The businesswoman, who cited safety concerns, alleged that the actor had been erratic, irrational, aggressive, and increasingly threatening. She noted that Yul acts like he is under some influence, the full extent or scope of which we are yet to ascertain. But we know the remaining story. We know the scope of it. Now, May did not stop at this. The order is also, in fact, she decided to get security officials, and she instructed them that henceforth nothing connects herself to Yul Edochie, and that for our own self-preservation, Yul Edochie cannot come close to her. Anyway, we all know that Judy Austin, being the kind of person she is, and of course we've seen her demonstrate this several times on camera. We've seen it several times. Somehow, she was able to fool Yul Edochie. Don't forget that the purpose of her coming to the life of Yul Edochie was for her to slide and glide into that house as a second wife. And of course, obviously, from the way and manner that our friend Sarah Martins and herself acted in time past until date, Judy Austin, we know that they weren't going to be at peace with themselves. No, she was coming in hoping that she will kick out May, maybe through RIP, through sickness, or maybe through frustration. But May, being a very intelligent person, she quickly acted. And upon realization that nothing is forthcoming to them, Judy Austin started saying things like, oh, look at you with all your baritone voice, with the Odogu thing, with all of this, I am a man, I am a man. A woman took what belongs to you, what both of you, maybe she, Yul Edochie had already bragged that I am the man, I am this and that. That is the only way it could get the attention of Judy Austin. You see? So eventually, after everything dawned on Judy that there is more to what the eyes can see, he kept on saying it's the court, and the court just gave it to her. You know how these things are. But Judy pressed and kept pressing, saying, how can a woman just like that in Nigeria here, can't you do something? Can't you look for a way to oppress her or do something and frustrate her? Can't we do something to make sure that this does not happen? No, this is your sweat. And this is what both of them have been thinking about for a long time. Like, how can I, have a house, even though we know that the capital used in building that house, all of it does not belong to him. It belongs majorly to me. So with all of the talks here and there, he felt like, okay, you know what? Let me act. And they came up with their simile so that they can get some fraudulent documents and begin to find ways of selling what does not belong totally to him. And that is exactly what they did. But unfortunately, all that they did came to light. All that they did came to light. So Yul Edochie packaged all the documents, got the appropriate stamp, forged everything, and decided to sell this. All you need is a CFO, certificate of ownership. He did all of these things. And do not forget that there are gullible people, and there are some people who are not social media savvy. They barely listen to social media. They don't know what's happening. They are in their own cocoon, in their own world. So Yul Edochie knows, and he targets such people like, there is a property here that can be sold. How can you, Yul Edochie, try to sell what you know you are not fully a owner of, particularly with the court ruling that you cannot access that house? Maybe if you want to access that house in the future, both of you can now come together and say, okay, according to the law, whilst we were married, this is what we did, regardless of what percentage you put into it. But at this time, at this moment, due to your wicked acts and your violence, you cannot come to that house. So until your last child, that's what the law states, until your last child clocks 18. In fact, in, I think, Lagos law, depends on how it is put, the child has to even be sometimes 20. Until that child is 18 or 20, that's when you can now say, you know what, this property has to be sold, or let's sell and share the money, or whatever it is that can. But for now, those children need a stable home, and that house is where they belong to. Unfortunately, you cannot go there. Now, on the other hand, even if you guys conclude on the kids are grown up, what about the 100 million that you have to pay? Even if you renegotiate it, you will pay. She knows what she did. They make sure that they anchor you to a point that you cannot escape. Regardless of how much you want to sell the house, regardless of whatever you do, you still owe her a lot of money that you have to pay. What are your thoughts? What are your suggestions and advice to me? Drop your comment, like, and share. See you in the next update.